Ladies and gentlemen, our inductee, Mack Whitaker. A young freshman looking forward to MCHS sports, Jerry Whitaker. Mack Whitaker's athletic career in baseball and basketball started at Marshall County High School in 1953. Mack played guard on the basketball team, earning All-County for the 1955-56 and 56-57 seasons. Here they are, the B-teamers looking for action. Left to right, number 4, Mack Whitaker. Number 3, Wendell Clements. Number 7, Charles Province. Number 9, Sammy Cox. Number 10, Benny Booth. Number 8, Olin Glass. Number 11, Roy Birdwell. Number 6, Steve Eubanks. Number 12, Billy Carr. And number 5, Sonny Snow. The 1957 A-team, front left to right. Number 11, Charles Province. Number 4, Mack Whitaker. Number 9, Walter Curitan. Number 10, Steve Eubanks. On the back row left to right, number 3, Howard Cooper. Number 5, Jerry Neighbors. Number 12, Charlie Short. Number 8, Donald Fuel. And number 7, Eugene Greep. Now look at the Wildcat baseball, 1956. Left to right on the front row, Steve Eubanks, Gary Wallace, Wayne Henderson, Mack Whitaker. Mack is 4th from the left. Next to him is Gerald Hatley, then Billy Cornelius, Billy Joe Carr. On the far right is Pos Fuel, brother of Don. On the back row, left to right, Tom Mosley, Andy Finley, Benny Booth, Don Fuel, the tall guy, Billy Bolding. Next to him is Buddy Wood, Roy Dean Birdwell, and Tony Randolph. Mack's senior baseball season, 1957, featured several of the big names in MCHS sports. Front row, left to right, Charles Singleton, Larry Paul Pack, Jimmy Vest, Mack Whitaker, Gary Wallace, and Walter Curitan. Standing left to right, Joe Pat McDonough, Jimmy Johnson, Howard Cooper. Next is Hall of Famer Frankie McClendon, Steve Eubanks, Benny Booth, Charlie Short. Next, another Hall of Famer, Donald Fuel. Next to Donald Fuel is Kenneth Hill, Wood Albert Reagan, and still another Hall of Famer, Eugene Greep, Mitch Smith, and Donnie Ryan. Ryan, of course, is the preacher. 4 Hall of Famers come from this team. Jerry Mack Whitaker, the senior, is all set to become an Auburn Tiger entering the fall of 1957. Baseball was the sport that propelled him to all-star status and a college scholarship. Whitaker was selected as an all-star by the Lions Club in 1957. Auburn University next offered the star pitcher and outfielder and guard the opportunity to play some more baseball and basketball. This is Irk and Mack. Mack is on the right, standing beside his Auburn baseball coach, Irk Russell. Mack played for coaches Joel Eves and Bill Lynn in basketball. Eves' name today is found as a part of Auburn's Garrett Eves Coliseum. Under Coach Irk Russell, he lettered 4 years and earned a 3-year varsity starting position in baseball. Coaches Eves and Russell later moved to the University of Georgia, Eves as the athletic director and Irk Russell as the longtime defensive head coach for Vince Dooley. Assistant coach Bill Lynn became the Auburn head basketball coach, replacing Eves. Whitaker was joined as a freshman in basketball and baseball by Porter Gilbert of Geraldine and Don Fuel of Gunnersville. Fuel, as a freshman, played football, basketball, and baseball before transferring to Southern Mississippi. Years later, Fuel, a Hall of Famer himself, nominated Whitaker for the Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame. Following his freshman year, Mack turned to baseball as his only sport. The southpaw from Gunnersville was the winning pitcher in his first game as a college player. He pitched over 7 innings against Alabama and was credited with a win for Auburn. His senior season in 1961 found the Auburn Tigers finishing second in the Southeastern Conference. The LSU Tigers led 1-0 in the best-of-3 series. Mack Whitaker in Game 2 pitched 11 2/3 innings. He was lifted with the score tied and a man on second. The first pitch from the relief pitcher allowed a hit that bounced off the shoulder of the center fielder, scoring the runner from second. Some of the famous names in Auburn sports history who were his teammates include Lloyd Nix, Jack Burkett, Rex Frederick, Morris Savage, and Porter Gilbert. First row, left to right, Harry Daniel, Morris Savage, Harold Robinson, Jim Hudson, Lloyd Nix, Lloyd is fifth from the left. He was quarterback of the 1957 National Championship football team. Next to Nix is Horace Williams, Charles Carlin, Gerald George. On the second row, Coach Russell, Joe Woods, Jim Shirley, and Mack Whitaker. Mack is the third player from the left, or the fourth person from the left, counting the coach. Next to Mack is Jim Douglas, Bruce White, Bob Baker, Ben Catchings, John McCree. On the third row, Jack Bloodworth, Bo Davis, Jack Anderson, Porter Gilbert. Porter is the fourth one. He is the great Geraldine Bulldog and a part of the SEC Championship basketball team. Next to Gilbert is Rex Frederick, another basketball great and an all-time rebounder for the Auburn Tigers. His jersey was retired this year. Next to Frederick is Alan Koch. Then Jack Burkett. He is second from the right on the last row. He was the center and linebacker for the 1957 National Championship football team. And on the end is Ed Pittman, the manager. His independent baseball career with the Guntersville Redbirds lasted from 1956 until the mid-70s. He was a Redbird when they played in the national tournament in Wichita, Kansas in 1962. It was the only national appearance for an independent team from here. The Redbirds of 62 that went to Wichita. On the first row, left to right, first is Tommy Ross, second Harold Parker, third Dunny Ryan, fourth is Shorty Smith, fifth Martin, sixth is Jerry M. Whitaker, seventh is Harold Barnard, eighth is Carl Harris, and ninth is Cliff Coggin, the Guntersville football coach. He also played with the Boston Red Sox as a professional baseball pitcher. On the second row, left to right, first is Farmer Jones, second Hut Thomas, third Money Sharp, Billy Bolding is fourth, Royce Birdwell is fifth, Bill Jones, Hall of Famer, is sixth. Then there's a young man named Wilson, Jerry Rice is eighth, Rayburn Thomas is ninth, and Frank Pike is the 10th player. At home in Guntersville, he has assisted the high school team and recreation department baseball. In the spring of 1996, here's the GHS varsity baseball team. On the bottom row, from left to right, the statistics: Reverend Wesley Brock, Mark McGraw, Mark Sheffer, Josh Carr, Wes Carey, Spencer Kyle, Chris Jackson, and Griffin Vaughn. On the top row, from left to right, Coach Keith Swisher, Jonathan Hyde, Brad Salwin, John Richter, Wes Long, Cole McAllister, Harold Kowalski, Coach Mack Whitaker, and Coach Keith Arnold. You know, success in sports and business has led to many leadership roles for Mack Whitaker. 18 years on the board of directors of David Lipscomb University, 28 years as a church elder, and 29 years as a bank director. Shown here, the first person on the left, seated, he was a charter member of the AU Athletic Council. This council was formed to help increase the level of private support for Auburn Tiger athletics. He served for several years. Mack is seated next to Coach Pat Dye as the coach presents a plaque to Geraldine's Coolidge Esbo for his $200,000 contribution to Auburn athletics. Other members of the Auburn Athletic Council include, on the front row, left to right, Jabo Wagner, David Curry, Mack, Coach Dye, Mr. Isbell, Ed Dias, and by the way, this year, Ed was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. Next to him, Charles Shalacy and Kurt Cope. Standing left to right, the College Football Hall of Famer, who passed away this past April, the great Billy Hitchcock. Billy scored the team's only touchdown on a 40-yard run in a 7-7 tie with Villanova in the Bacardi Bowl in Havana, Cuba, January 1, 1937. He was also captain and shortstop on Auburn's 1937 SEC Championship baseball team. The university has named its baseball field in his honor and a golf tournament for him. Second from the left standing is John Montgomery, third person not known. Fourth is John Bell. Next is Jimmy Lee, Connie Kanakas, and John Watson. Ladies and gentlemen, today in retirement, he enjoys watching his grandchildren, nephews, and nieces compete in Wildcat and college sports. Our inductee, Mack Whitaker.
What an act to follow. I could have been first. But I do want to thank the board of directors of the Hall of Fame, the selection committee, for choosing me of all people. I want to thank my high school coaches, Coach Lee and Coach Chorber, Coach Bill Lynn down at Auburn in basketball, and Coach Eric Russell in baseball. I want to thank Don Fuel, and my good wife Diane, who nominated me. And I want to thank Bill Yancey for making all this stuff that you read in here sound like it was so. I will tell you a story. Many of you remember Dr. Ogletree. He never missed a baseball game. And when I was in the 9th grade, we were coming back from Fort Payne. And I was in the back seat, and he was driving that old Olds 88 down Highway 75, and I had the bright idea. I opened the back door and slammed it and laid down in the back floorboard, and they said, "Mack fell out." And he pulled that big Oldsmobile to a halt on that road, and I never got to ride with him again. Never did. But I will tell you one story about Coach Lee. That when I decided where I was going to school, and I couldn't wait to tell him about it, and I ran down in the dressing room and I said, I wanted to tell you where I was going to school. I'm going to Auburn, and I'm going to play baseball. He said, "Son, you'll never make it." And a lot of times when things were tough and the grades wasn't coming too easy, and I'd think, well, I just could go home. And I'd think about what he said, and I would stick it out. And I finally graduated and came back here and was playing with the Redbirds one night, and Coach Lee happened to be out there coaching first and second base. And sometime during the game, I got on base, and I got out there, and he was standing beside me, and I said, I just wanted you to know one thing. I did make it. I graduated, and I played baseball. And he said, "Well, that's good, son. I've been reading about you." He said, "I'm proud of you." He had no idea. No idea. But if it hadn't been for him, and I never did figure out whether he told me that for the truth, or if he told me that just to make me work a little harder. But when I told him about it later on, he claimed he told it to me to make me work harder. But thanks again for this great honor. And I know it's late, so I won't tell any more stories. Thank you.